Hey guys, this project started with this design I made a while back, and I had already 3D printed a few prototypes which are currently on the car. The goal was now to refine the design and get a mold made from which I will be able to pull glass fiber parts. The plan was to print out a negative of the part itself and then use that as mold directly. So let's get on with it. I printed the mold in two halves, effectively separating the top and the bottom. Both sides I had to print in multiple parts because my Ender 3 can't handle much more than about 20 by 20 centimeters. As usual, I print everything in PETG. It's great stuff. I scuffed up all mating surfaces and used my go-to 5-minute epoxy to get everything glued together, and I used a glass surface for lining purposes. When the two halves were glued up, I started mixing up a batch of polyester resin, which I have been recently working more with due to its cost effectiveness as well as quicker drying times. I gave the backside of the mold a 300-gram sheet of glass fiber reinforcement so it wouldn't break apart on me by accident. I also treated the inside of the mold with resin so I can sand it flat and get a nicer surface finish. I trimmed off the excess glass fiber and got to work. I sanded up the entire inside of the surface from where I'll be pulling the parts, but I wasn't quite satisfied with everything yet, so in order to save time I went straight for body filler, to fill out all the nooks and crannies. A quick sand later after the body filler has dried, it was looking much better already. In order to be able to pull parts though, the surface was a tad too porous now, so after a cleanup I gave it another layer of resin. When that dried up, I gave it a wet sand first with 400 and then followed by 800 grit sandpaper. All I did to finish it off was to polish it up with a heavy self-diminishing cutting compound. That surface was plenty good enough for my purposes. Next up was giving it a nice coat of PVA, so if there were imperfections left, they would be further diminished. As usual, I start off with a 100 grams glass fiber sheet as a coupling coat to have a good bond to the surface of the mold and have very little voids. After trimming the excess, I cut up several 300-gram reinforcement pieces and added them in. I cut out everything that stood proud of the surface and laid up a second round of 300 grams glass fiber sheets. Before moving on to the last step, I quickly scuffed up the bridging section so it would be ready to receive a bonding layer. I simply added a bit of glass fiber and resin to combine the two halves. I took a couple of drill bits as guides and then got as many clamps as I could fit, as well as some weights to make sure the two sides would bond properly. The next morning it was just a matter of getting the parts out of the mold. It turned out way better than I had expected. But the single most satisfying thing about this entire process was peeling off that PVA. I trimmed off the excess and we were left with parts I was fairly proud of. You could still see a bit of the structure in the part itself, but nothing that some sanding and filler can't fix really. I sanded up the parts and filled some imperfections, and then moved on to spray it with filler, followed by another round of sanding. When I was happy with its current state, I just gave it a lick of black paint so I can install them for now. The plan is to have everything professionally painted down the road anyway. And with all of that done, there's only one thing left to do, and that is installing them. And this puppy right here. Just kidding, it's that one. Let's go. These are still the old 3D printed ones with the unrefined design, let's say. They had to go. I offered up the new parts to the rear bumper to make sure everything was fitting, and then I decided to take off the bumper, which is what I should have done in the first place. I reinstalled the bumper and I was finally able to take a step back and look at my newest creation. I'm super stoked with how they came out. The process was definitely not perfect, but I'm more than content to run these on my Skyline. Also, I'm sorry about the ride height, but it was a necessary evil to get everything legalized. I had to remove the air suspension in favor of the legal coilovers, and for now I'm gonna leave it like this because it is about to swap places with the Porsche, and in order to get the car in and out of the barn, I'm gonna need that clearance. But that also means, once the Porsche is finally at home, I can get stuck in there. And that's for one of the next videos. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye.